have seen James Bond 007. I see that hand. I see that hand. I see that hand. I love James. Now I can't say it. I'm not crazy about the new guys, the Roger Craig guys, the Pierce Brosnan. I'm a Sean Connery, old school James Bond. Amen. But one of the things that intrigued me, Greg, about James Bond, I've always been intrigued. How in the world, Sam, did James Bond get out of all the stuff that he got into? James was cool. He was collected. James would go into a place and he would go up and say, Bond, James Bond. Oh, Lord, there was something, the guy was together. But it always continued. How in the world did James Bond get out of all the stuff that we got? Man, I was watching one of the James Bond movies, and James Bond was up in the airplane just fighting these dudes, man, and they was getting the best of it, and they threw James Bond out of the airplane. He didn't have a parachute the first. And I said, oh, that's it. This is the last James Bond film. But somewhere, somehow, James Bond would put a button on his coat, and his coat became a parachute. I said, how does he do that? And then one time, James Bond was in this this boat. I mean, it was way out in the Atlantic Ocean, way out there. I mean, there was no land anywhere around. And James Bond was fighting these dudes, man, and they pitched James Bond over the boat, and he didn't have no oxygen at all. I said, oh, this is it. This is the last James Bond film. Ash to ashes, dust to dust. It's over. But somewhere, somehow, James Bond will pull his tie, and his tie became oxygen. I said, how in the world does he do that? And maybe my favorite James Bond of all time, Goldfinger. I love Goldfinger. And that big old, tall, ugly dude with the bling-bling in his mouth, man. And some of y'all remember that. And James Bond was on this table, and it was about to saw James Bond with a laser. And somewhere, somehow, I said, oh, this is it. This is the last James Bond movie. No more serious. Ash to ashes, dust to dust. It's over. But somewhere, somehow, James Bond would turn his hand, and his watch became a laser that stopped us all. I said, how in the world does he do that? And I never will forget. One Saturday, as most of us guys do, I was at home, and I was going through the channels and hunting the channels. And I came across several channels as I was hunting. Life Channel, Lifetime, no indeed, get out of there, no way. Nickelodeon, no way. Oprah, no, the devil is a liar. God, the children, no this and no that. And I was going through all those things. And then I finally came across the History Channel. Ian Fleming, the making of James Bond. I said, oh. I told my wife Elizabeth, hold my phone calls. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I'm now going to find out how in the world that James Bond got out of all the stuff that he was in before. And for a whole hour, I was intently tuning in because I wanted to see how James Bond got out of all the stuff that he got out. And after an hour of watching Ian Fleming, the making of James Bond, I found out. David, I found out. Greg, Kelly, I found out. You know what I found out watching that documentary? That when James Bond was up in that airplane and they threw him off the airplane